Welcome in, folks. It is another Wednesday, so it is time for another episode of What's Bruin. Gayle, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing all right.
Yeah.
I know some people probably are might be seeing this on Dom Tiano's old Twitter feed. We are trying to help him get that back. So that's why we're trying this out. Hopefully, we're not running into any issues there. But we're going to do everything we can to help Dom get his old account. So hopefully everybody is able to watch on their preferred platform. We got Kevin already jumping in. We got a lot to go over, I guess. I mean, sort of, right?
Yeah, we opted not to jump on Friday. Well, I opted not to jump on Friday with the minimal moves, but we do have to discuss those. And then the games that what we've had 3 games since we last saw each
Something like
other.
that. I think so.
Yeah.
3 or 4.
Yeah.
I
I
think
think it
3.
was. Oh, it was 4. It was 4 because it was Thursday, the back-to-back Saturday, Sunday, and then last night.
That's right. They had the back to back in there.
Yeah.
So, but they got the loss against Nashville, which we are gonna have to talk about. Then decent. I mean, you got points from the weekend, both games, which was very important. And then, of course, you got the OT winner last night, costing you a few more of Charlie McAvoy's teeth. So
Yeah,
poor guy
dude.
can't catch a
That
fucking
poor
break.
guy cannot catch a break with his face.
Oh man, do you think they would just let him wear the bubble at this point? If he like, I don't know why he's not asking to, but
Well, because it's technically against NHL rules unless it's an injury, and that's not an injury. Losing teeth is not an injury.
I, yeah, okay, that's
Dom, you're
weird.
making me laugh. Hi, Dom.
Mom says I would like some bacon, 2 eggs, easy over, and 3 sausages. That does sound good, Dom. It really does. Nice breakfast for dinner kind of day. So it does look like I'm having some issues with the Twitter feed overall on both my profile and on Dom's. So we'll have to investigate that.
Yeah,
It
Blue Sky is working.
Yeah, we're able to get live on Blue Sky. That's been confirmed. So try one thing, lose something else. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's weird. But anyways, we're here. We're here to talk about the beast. We got Dom watching, we got Kevin watching, we got a few other people watching as well. So we definitely want their comments. But yeah, we you mentioned the trade deadline.
Yeah.
2 very minor moves from Sweeney and Bruins brass. Um,
I did like what Sweeney had to say, though.
which and
The part about
which parts in particular?
that group deserves to show what it can do. That the group is the one that's got them
Yeah,
there. The cost that it would have got that it would have the cost of what it would take to get some of the missing pieces that you and I have discussed over and over and over again was way too high, and it would have depleted some of their better prospects, some of their picks, even some players on the roster,
yeah,
and you cannot undervalue what Arvidsson and that second line of Zakar Arvidsson and Middlestat has done since before the Olympic break and coming out of the Olympic break. They've been their most consistent line since coming out of the Olympic break.
yeah. I think it's well established now that prices at this deadline were extremely high. Hey, we agree with Kevin on something finally. Kevin says he's happy with the deadline. We made it out with both our first rounders. Selling Arvidsson probably wasn't an option due to the no movement clause, and they may want to bring him back. So, yeah, I'm fine with the way they stood pat for the NHL club. It's clear, like I said, that the prices were really high, and as much as you need to be ready and be willing to part with some of your high end assets, your first round picks, your James Higgins, Dean Letourneau type pieces. Right now, Boston's still kind of in They're in that gathering mode. They're gathering those resources still. They did a great job last year at doing it and then hitting on some of the draft picks that they got, especially the Hagens pick. But if you're going to deal away James Hagens, you need to have the next Hagens in your system. And you'd like to
Right.
think you might have that in someone like Zellers, but you're probably also giving Zellers up in that same deal if you're
Right.
with Hagens. So like you need to have a little bit more. Don't kill Dom for that one.
What?
He says they should have traded for a goal. He would have swung.
Oh. Did you see what I put on Blue Sky?
Probably. I've just probably seen so much that I haven't. I'm not able to.
It was join me and Chris for another exciting slap happy, if you know, you know, episode of What's Bruins tonight.
Oh yeah. Don't make them mad this early, Dom and Kevin.
Listen, I'm not talking about, although I am much more nervous about what would happen if Swayman did get hurt now than I was before the Olympic break.
Yeah. Am I frozen on you? Oh, there we go. I think I'm back. I will say Korpisalo's been playing well. I think right now Swayman's just been playing better. It's let's see. Yes, Kevin says yes. I'm very happy with Dean and still here, excited about that kid. Yeah, I mean, I'm not ready to move on from him at the price point it would have taken to move on from him. If you could have gotten, say, a Robert Thomas for 3 assets instead of 4, we're having a different conversation. But the fact that you're also throwing in probably a second round equivalent, or if he was healthy, a Don/Mellis, or it's just the totality of what it would have taken to pull off a move like that it just doesn't make any sense. And that's why I'm good with it. Obviously, they did make the 2 small moves. They moved out. It was Brett Harrison and Jackson Edward,
right?
And then they got I don't even remember the names. They were kind of that tweener ECHL and an AHL player. Here we go. Massimo Rizzo and Alexi Gendron.
Mm-hmm.
Really just kind of 2 pieces for Boston that just needed a change of scenery for 2 people from Philly who just needed a change of scenery.
Again, no issue with swapping prospects.
I've loved Brett Harrison's shot. Everything, a lot of his game is really, really good. It's just, is he able to get that final touch and get the physicality there? And so far, you've had him for several seasons, and it just hasn't been there. So, not that he is, but remember how we look back now at the Tyler Seguin trade and go, okay, he really matured as a person because he got the slap in the face of being dealt from Boston to Dallas.
Yeah.
That kind of life-changing overhaul can be helpful for some people at a young age, and some people just need it. Whether it's for their maturity of their game on the ice or off the ice, it's just all around necessary. So I hope he does well, and I agree with Dom. Lucas Reichel is worth keeping an eye on. I thought that was a great pickup.
Well, especially because they only gave up a 6th rounder for him.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people, I know the initial reaction was, oh, you could have had him in December for free and that sort of thing. The issue with that, one, you just lost Don/Mellis for the season. So he is your replacement for Mellis. 2, in December, you didn't have a spot for him. He would have been on your NHL roster if you put a waiver claim in. So the fact that you were able to get a former 1st round pick with a 6th round pick, that's a win. Even if all he does is come in and help Providence, he's going to help make Providence better, which is that in turn potentially help guys that are trying to make your NHL roster going forward. So Kevin says, would you say it's fair to say that Harrison was another Senyshyn? No, I think Zach Senyshyn really didn't have luck when it came to injuries. Anytime he and Zboril really had a chance to make a statement, they got hurt. So Harrison just hasn't really like he hasn't done anything in Providence to say I'm here, look at me, I deserve another shot, or I deserve a look at the next level. Zach Senyshyn had moments like that. Plus, his speed was, he could skate. Brett Harrison, not as strong of a skater, but his shot is just, it's on par. If you could get to the NHL with just a shot, Harrison would be there. But the
Right.
fact that you can't shows that. And then also the other day we got the 2-year extension for Freddie Brunet.
Yep.
Nice little bit of cap work there.
Yeah, and I like the fact that next season is a two-way contract, and then the final year is a one-way contract.
Yeah, I think it lends to the idea that there were talks of a deal that just didn't come to fruition for whatever reason. Maybe the clock ran out. Maybe they just couldn't finalize a price before the clock ran out there. But you are losing Jordan Harris this offseason unless you extend him, which right now there's really no need to. I mean, your decor pretty much right now for next season is you have one.
Right.
Right now it'll be McAvoy, Zadorov, Lindholm. I gotta say, Mason Lohrei on the right side looks pretty damn good.
Well, he was playing well with Hampus Lindholm after, like, in spurts when Lindholm and Carlo weren't together.
Yeah.
He was playing well with him. I really think it took a while for last season to get out of his head.
I think that's part of it for sure. I
You know?
think there is something to be said though, where playing on his offside gives him more mobility as a left-handed offensive-minded defender, and I think his style being more offensive allows Hampus Lindholm to be able to focus more defensively, which is definitely a strength of his. But he can also move the puck, so he can better read off of what Lohrei is going to do because he understands the offensive mindset that Lohrei has.
Right.
And so they're able to complement each other extremely well. I want to see this have a lot more run. I really do. It's surprisingly good in my opinion. And if that allows you to keep Yoki Haru and Peak in a third pairing role, now you just got to sort out what that third pairing is going to look like. I mean, do you like McAvoy Aspero better than McAvoy Zadorov? Like, how do you want to do that?
I think in the playoffs, depending on who you're facing, just kind of like even if you go back to 2011, in the playoffs, certain games, certain teams, Chara and Seidenberg were paired together.
Yeah.
It wasn't always like that. So when you have the opportunity, if the decor is playing well, you have the opportunity to put McAvoy with Zadorov against a heavy hitting team or a more physical team. It makes more sense to have them out there together. So I think that's the thing that is great about Sturm is that he's actually with his D pairs, it's making much more sense game to game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's funny, like a lot of people forget that most of the time in the game, when he makes adjustments, it's not a huge noticeable adjustment. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like, wait, when did that happen type of thing. Like, all of a sudden, it just kind of flows.
Yeah. And as Dom points out, Lohrei had an excellent game last night. I think he's only gotten better ever since he's gotten put to that right side, too. We're not just seeing, like, flashes. We're seeing actual growth in his game over game, where he's settling in a top 4 role. And, I mean, I know we talked about it. You have to be open to moving him, and obviously deadline's gone. So your focus now is, can he be a top 4 right pair defenseman for us? Did we just solve one of our biggest needs internally without having to go outside the organization? Because if he can be defensively responsible enough to be that that right side pair, you don't have to go get a right shot defenseman anymore. Like, yes, you want to build that depth still in your organization, but it's not the urgent need that it was, say, 4 weeks ago. So, Kevin says, Laura, if he can be consistent in his own end, man, they really have something there with that kid because of his offensive vision is off the charts.
His offensive vision has always been there.
Yeah. I think he's, I don't know if, I think he's better able to read it on his offside, which is weird. But in some ways, I think it opens him up a little bit more. I think maybe he feels a little less restricted versus having the boards right there on that side all the time as well.
Which broadcast did you watch last night?
Last night I did the unobstructed views.
Okay. So let's talk about something that Bergeron and Raycroft were talking about, Fraser Minten.
Yep. Go ahead.
I'm seeing some comments about people that are disappointed that Fraser Minten is plateaued. I'm like, what? What?
I mean,
so to hear Raycroft and Bergeron talk about his game and his vision and his patience and all the accolades that they pretty much gave the kid last night, it was so refreshing to hear, because you're talking about arguably one of the best two-way centers ever, and then Raycroft.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I love Raycroft, don't get me wrong, and he sees the game really well as a former goaltender.
Yeah.
And and I still, in my mind, I don't know if it's true, I don't have the inside track on this, but I think that they're kind of grooming Raycroft to take over for Brick when
I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, because he's been spending a lot of time in the booth.
Yeah.
If you've noticed, he's already part of the Nesson family. He could do the color analyst job with that because he sees the game so well.
Yeah, and it's a logical step, at some point, we've already
because
lost
eventually
Jack from
Brick
his
is
position
going to retire.
Yeah. Let's see. Kevin says, Dom says, hold on a minute, Minten plateaued.
Right. I mean, I was flabbergasted when I saw some of those comments. I'm like, are we watching the same kid?
And Kevin says, people are insane. They really don't think there's more to Minten than just this rookie year. The Fook.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Toronto fans are still bullshit. The Bruins were able to get Minten in that deal.
And then they completely screwed themselves on the trade deadline by waiting so long to do anything. They got no value for any of their guys. They walked away with a third and a second round pick.
Yeah. Oh, but
and
Kyle
they got
Dubas
one first in the Nick. Right. But they got the one draft pick, first round pick in 2027. A year where right. I'm pretty sure they already have their own. Yeah.
Right.
That's the move to have made. Like, I don't know.
But
it's definitely funny to watch.
Hearing Bergeron and Raycroft talking about Minten and Husadinov. Chris, you're frozen again. All right, now you're back. But hearing them talk about
I could hear
talking about Minten and Husadinov. I mean, literally, those two young players can play anywhere in the lineup.
Yeah. I will
are
ask
almost
you this.
as versatile.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Nope. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, go ahead. Nope.
I was going to say, when do you want him to go back to Geeky, Lindholm, Pasternak on the top line?
I mean, I understand what Sturm's doing, but I kind of don't like that line broken up.
That's why I was asking the question, because every night I see the lineup, I keep waiting to see Geeky, Lindholm, Pasternak put back together. He's made it very clear. We talk about the pairs. Lindholm, Pasternak is the pair.
Right.
He's
Well,
made that
for a
clear.
while it was Geeky and Pasternak.
I know.
For a while it was Pasternak and Geeky, and then all of a sudden there's something about, I mean, definitely when Pasta came back from that injury, it had been building towards those two. But I don't know, like something, I guess it depends on the opponent too.
I guess. I mean, I understand the idea of we've got this great goal scorer in Morgan Geeky who we can put on our third line and he can fit on that third line. So I understand the idea of let's spread out our scoring a little bit and break him up from Pasternak, just because we, you know, if you look at it, you've got a scorer in Pasternak on the top line, a scorer. I mean, you've got a shooter in Zaka, a shooter in Arvidsson, like, and a playmaker in Casey Middlestat on the second line. And then you got a goal scorer on the third line. So in theory, you've spread out your offense.
But maybe he split them up because Pasta was deferring to Geeky so much.
Maybe
he's like,
it was still working. So like,
right, but he could be saying you need to shoot more.
Yeah, Kevin says Stiggs, Lindholm, Mids, Patra between them. I don't care. Geeky and Pasta create magic together.
They do. I mean, they certainly do. 100% they do. But I don't know. I mean, I can't. They're 1 point out of the top wild card spot. They put distance between them and the teams chasing them.
Yep, they're 2 points up on Columbus right now. No one plays tonight that would really help you all that much. So there's a little bit of a night off. Did I just freeze up again?
Yeah.
Could you still hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you, but you were like this.
That's weird. Well, no screenshots on that one. I look at the Penguins and the Islanders and I go, can we get ahead of those guys? Because if you can get literally just 2 more points, like tomorrow night's games are going to be key. No, Dom, I probably couldn't play between Geeky and Pasta.
The Bruins have San Jose, so they have to contend with, but actually, too, the other thing is, too, though, is that Pasta, it was Raycroft that said it last night, and I would normally be nervous about this, and I'm not, because of how well he's played coming back from the Olympics. But Swayman should be his net until, for the rest of this week, at least. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason for Korpisalo to play.
Yeah, no, I'd give Sway the net, basically the net. And then I guess the question becomes, do you do Korpisalo in New Jersey or in Montreal? I would probably give him Jersey just because.
Yeah, Montreal is. Yeah,
it's Montreal.
Yeah. And then I would give him the net against Toronto and have Swayman play Buffalo. Because those are the 2 back-to-backs this month.
Those are the 2 back-to-backs. Swayman should be able to carry everything else. I mean, you're paying him to do it, so give him the chance to do it. So he's playing well.
San Jose, Washington, and then you have a day off, and then New Jersey. So Korpisalo last played against Nashville? No, Washington. No.
Yeah,
No, it was Pittsburgh, wasn't it?
I thought he got the Washington game.
Hold, please.
I'm going to check, too. I don't remember. Swayman played the Washington game.
Yeah,
so
Korpisalo. I knew Korpisalo. Yeah. So if he plays against New Jersey, then you can go back to Swayman for Montreal, Winnipeg, Detroit, give Corpusalo, Toronto, and then you finish out the month Buffalo, Minnesota, Columbus, and Dallas, all Swayman. There's no reason you cannot do that.
Yeah, because then you can do
There's no
Swayman.
reason
You could
why.
do Corpusalo Thursday the 2nd against Florida.
Right.
And then Tampa Saturday is the Swayman game. Sunday, the back-to-back. Philly is Corpy.
And then you got Swayman the last 4 games of the season. There is no reason why Corpusalo should play more than 3 games down the stretch.
Corpusalo should get the 12th against Columbus or the 11th.
Oh, that's right. There's the back-to-back. I would still put Sway against Tampa. I would. You're chasing them in the standings. Anything you can do to get extra points.
Yeah. Dom says Bruins need to finish ahead 2 of Penn's, Isles, CBJ, Habs, Wings, Sens to make the playoffs. Yeah. I mean, right now you can only go one game at a time, and if you can get ahead of the Islanders and the Penguins, then you don't even make the wild card the Metro's problem.
Well, and the other thing is, too, is the Bruins are only 2 points behind Montreal for the 3rd spot in the Atlantic.
Yeah, they're still catchable. I mean, 4 if you count Tampa, and Tampa's on a tank right now. Tampa Bay has not been playing well. So you feasibly, if you can just stick to your game, like the key right now, and I know a lot of people want to look at this past weekend and go, oh, you should have beat the Penguins without Crosby and without Malkin. But like, if you're looking at the schedule and you go, you've got the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday games, and you're going to come away with, what is that, 2, 4, 7 points?
But the thing is, too, is that they need to fix their road woes.
Oh, for sure.
They have so much confidence at home. They need to find some of that confidence on the road. They should not. They blew a 3-0 lead against Pittsburgh. A 3-0 lead against a team that didn't have. Why are you dark?
I don't know. I didn't turn any lights on or off here.
No Crosby, no Malkin, no Justin Brazeau. It was just, there's no reason why to blow that 3-goal lead.
No, there was no excuse behind it, and it just, I was that the one where he called the time? Yeah, that's the one where Sturm called the timeout,
and they came out and scored,
and then they came out and scored. And I remember when he took the timeout,
they took the 4-3 lead, and then Mantha tied it again.
Yeah, I remember when he took the timeout, though. I remember thinking, is that a timeout he would have called 2.5 months ago?
Doesn't matter. He took it.
No, I know. I'm just saying, is that part of what we're seeing him as a coach learning on the job?
Of course.
Where he, you know what I mean? Like, Kevin says, I told you guys about Justin Brazeau, Bruins legend. Ian says, can the Bruins get Charlie McAvoy a full helmet? This poor boy will never be able to eat solid food. Poor kid. Yeah, Dom, I'm with you. Can't wait till we get to Toronto. Unfortunately, our next game against them is in Boston. But that's the way to fix your confidence on the road, is to play Toronto. Let's see. Now we need Nick Richie Lindholm, Brazeau top line. Book it. Oh, Kevin.
Well, and I only added Brazeau to that list because he's been playing very well for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he's fit in very well with them.
He's fit in very well. Parker Wotherspoon's fit in very well with them.
I do worry about playing San Jose tomorrow, just because, one, at some point you are going to lose at home. At some point, like, you're just not going to finish the season going undefeated the rest of the way. And the Sharks are a beast right now. Like, they've been playing really, really well. They haven't had every result go their way, but they are playing extremely well.
Past San Jose, they have to face San Jose, who has 66 points and in the bottom tier of the league, and they need to take that 2 points.
Oh no, they need to. Well,
And I say the bottom
San
tier.
Jose,
They're
if
not
they get,
like, I mean, they're what?
they're 1 point out of a playoff
Right,
spot.
but
They're 1 point away from taking over from
I
Seattle.
I understand, but they're still like in a league of 32 teams, they're closer to 25 than they are to 15.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean? Where
yeah. You
the Bruins
should
are right outside the top 10 in the league.
you should be able to beat San
Right.
Jose. What worries me is their youth and speed can really hurt you. And that's something that we saw in Pittsburgh was their the quickness and their ability to just flip it real quick. San Jose can do that to you. They can just randomly score one goal and all of a sudden the floodgates
Well,
are
I think
open.
pretty much
So
there's not many teams that can't do that though. You know what I mean? With the confidence factor, you get that especially with a kid like Malcolm Celebrini, the way he's playing, you know?
yeah. Yeah. But like I said, tomorrow's slate of games is also going to be interesting because the Lightning play the Red Wings.
Dom, what is up with your He's on fire tonight.
They're playing on ice. I don't think a shark can beat a bear on ice. I will have to search YouTube for shark versus bear. Oh, Dom. Oh, by the way, congratulations to Dom on another grandchild.
Oh, I didn't know. Congratulations.
Yes, I meant to mention that earlier, but yes, Dom, now that you're commenting your wise ass cracks, I entered my brain. So I'll say that now.
Excuse me.
But with Tampa playing Detroit, and if you can take care of business against the Sharks, then you almost want Tampa to win that matchup so that you can overtake Detroit.
Oh, I want Tampa to win because I'd rather get to the one and then get, you know what I mean, keep pushing.
Yeah, and on top of that, on Thursday, oh wait, no, Montreal is off. Montreal plays Friday. No, when is there? Oh, they're playing tonight. That's why they're playing Ottawa tonight. So
you almost want Ottawa
you
to
can
win.
be in a good. You do want Ottawa to win because they're still 5 points behind you. So if Ottawa can win it in regulation, then tomorrow you actually have a chance to jump Montreal and Detroit with a win. So that's Tom says thank you. I would post a picture, but I don't know how. Then he goes sharks with laser beams. Anyway, what is your confidence level on this team being in the playoffs?
What do you mean?
Do you have any worry about them falling out of the playoff spot at this point?
My only concern is the amount of road games that they have if they don't figure that out. That is my concern because they've proven that they can play tight games. Last night was a game right there. That was a defensive game. They limited the Kings to what? 16 shots?
Yeah, something like that. It was low.
And it was a good defensive game. It wasn't, you know what I mean? So if you can play that type of a game on the road.
No. Kevin made the comment about having seen Austin Powers, and Dom goes, not Austin Power, but I've seen Owen Power. Oh, boy. Anyway.
Yeah.
You were saying last night was a defensive game.
But
we'll
if
let
they
Kevin
can
and
play
Dom
that
do their
way
thing.
on the road, you know what I mean? Like, are these games, like the game against Pittsburgh, the game against Tampa, the game against Florida, those games that they only took away 1 point instead of 2 because they blew leads, are those games going to come back to haunt them? Because they were all on the road. And are they going to come back to haunt them down the stretch? Because those points, especially because 2 of those teams are in your own division.
Yeah. Just I'm looking at this. Like the harder teams that you have to face luckily, for the most part, I can't even include Buffalo in
But
that
you
anymore.
cannot win in the playoffs if you can't win on the road.
No, but I think what the team.
Especially if you don't have home ice, which the Bruins are
No,
not going to
I
have.
I think the advantage the Bruins would have from that though is they would have they would be able to reset once the regular season is over, and they'd be
Yeah,
able
but
to basically
look at that
say,
lineup. How many of those players in that lineup have been in the postseason?
well, Pasternak, Lindholm, Geeky,
McAvoy.
Zaka, Arvidsson, Janot's been there, Corrali's been there. Um, yeah, I mean, and then on the back end, McAvoy's been there, Lindholm's been there, Zadorov's been there, Swayman's been there. So you have a good playoff tested or at least aware team. Um, so Dom says Bruins will finish third in the division. I have spoken. The great and powerful Dom has spoken. They will finish third in the division. Yeah, I don't see them being so bad on the road. Like as much as they're blowing the leads, they're still taking points.
But
And
there's no reason they should have gotten manhandled and destroyed by Nashville.
no, no. Nashville, I think there was still a lot working in Nashville's favor in terms of having just got. I mean, they had 3 rookies in the lineup making their debut that day. That's going to be a pick me up for a lot of players in that locker room. So I do think that gave them a bit of a boost. Now to get manhandled 6-3, no, I agree with you, but I do think there was some excitement in Nashville for that, and of course, you had guys like Ryan O'Reilly who stuck around at the deadline, Steven Stamkos who stuck around. These are guys that are trying to keep the excitement going in Nashville, and therefore, when you have the exciting factor of 3 NHL debuts like that, it adds to it. So, Dom says the Atlantic is not the loser division unless you only count the Leafs. I don't see them falling out. The question becomes how good and how confident can you be in them when the regular season ends and they enter the playoffs. Wander says, I think 9-9 it is as good as they can do. Good chance they are under 500 the rest of the schedule.
Right.
I don't know. There's a lot of things that can still buy and change. I mean, at some point, as great as Buffalo's been, they're gonna have to come back down to earth. Tom says the only exciting thing about Nashville is going to a concert after the game. Don't they do the concert at the game in Nashville? I mean, your hardest opponents that you're gonna face, at least the rest of this month. Buffalo's on the road, which is weird to say. Minnesota and Dallas are both at home. I think Montreal is going to be tough.
I still think even though Tampa is not playing well, Tampa's still a tough game.
I was talking about just this month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, next month, obviously, you have the small handful of games. You're going to have the Saturday back-to-backs with Tampa on the road and then at home. My question for that Saturday, the 4th game, is going to be how healthy are you coming out of that game on Thursday against Florida? How out for blood are they going to be for their season at that point? Because Florida is definitely the team that if we're not making the playoffs, we're going to knock someone the the frick out, and we don't care how. So.
Oh, now Chris is like this.
Can you hear me at least?
I can hear you, but
Okay, there we
you're
go.
back.
I don't know. This has been a weird technological episode. But no, I agree. The road woes are something they have to figure out. Hopefully by Jersey, like New Jersey's so far out of it, maybe that's a get right game on the road. But I don't know. Do you see them calling anybody up to try to help spark anything on the roster?
No.
Now that the roster limit's gone.
No.
Nope.
I don't. I honestly I'm kind of shocked to see Steve's as a healthy scratch as much as he's been.
Does that bother you?
It doesn't bother me because it's not like Eastmont's playing bad.
No, it's that he's been benched so much since he got the extension.
Yeah.
That's
but
what
again,
I'm wondering.
But again, we don't know why. I mean, is it a performance issue? Is it a matchup issue? Is Sturm saying that Eastmont gives a little bit more grit? I mean, we don't know.
It'll be interesting to see when Steve's does get back in the lineup. That'll be the interesting part. As of right now, my guess would be either the New Jersey or the Montreal game. Probably the New Jersey game because they are a little bit more speed, skill on the front end that you need to match with. Eastmont
I can't look at you. You're
Montreal.
Frozen again.
Ah, damn it.
Like, every time I look at you, you're like,
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
That's weird. You heard me though, right?
I did. Like, the sound is there. It's just the picture.
Okay. Well, then at least the audio will be fine. Wonders 2WA says James Higgins. We were gonna get there.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think Higgins, if he does go pro at the end of his collegiate season, I'm not sure that the Bruins just throw him right in and not put him in Providence. I would like to see, but where do you put him?
And who do you look at and say, all of your effort this year, we're going to go with him?
Right. Well, I mean, again, I have no issues if they try him.
Yeah.
But I think it would be more beneficial for him because I think Providence is going to go deeper in the playoffs than Boston to get down there and get into the system and get lots of minutes in Providence. And then have him earn his spot in camp next year. Like, I don't think he's not going to put them over the top to win a Stanley Cup this year. So why not get him in Providence, get him playing with Matthew Patra or, anyone that maybe then they build their chemistry together that come camp next year, they're the ones that, overtake a line,
Kevin says, bench Lindholm and have Hagen show him how it's done. I don't know.
If anyone says that Lindholm is not the best center on this team right now, then they're not paying attention.
Yeah. I am curious because, like I said, good luck having that conversation with Matthew Patra too. Of like, you've been here all season, you've been with us now for 3 years, but this Higgins kid, we're just gonna throw him in the NHL. Like, all the work that you've put in, all that stuff means nothing to us because we're just gonna go. Like, how would you feel if you're Patra in that situation? Now, like you said, if you get him a look to see what he looks like in the NHL and it's only for a game, then that's fine. But if you're gonna let this guy go on a 7-game run for you, Like, if I'm Poitras, I'd be pissed at that point.
But it depends on what he does. If
Yes.
he comes in and he lights it up in that game and he plays at least 12 minutes, right? You got to give him a second look.
At least Kevin's agreeing with you right now. Lindholm is the best center on the team, and that's not good. Let's see. He adds, I really think Elias Lindholm will go down as Sweeney's worst contract, but I don't blame him for it. I disagree with that too. Yeah. 100%. What else were we going to do at the time? Well, you could have been patient and worked more on, like, there were other options. You didn't have to. I don't think it's going to go down in his worst contract at all.
No.
I mean, let's not forget you still have the Backus contract and the Bolesky contract to contend with. And even in 1 year, Lindholm has already proven to be better than that. Also, I think Elias Lindholm, if you really got to a point, maybe not next year, but the year after or the one after that, Elias Lindholm will still hold trade value.
Correct.
And one thing that we know Sweeney has learned from is holding on to players too long. And so he will move off of that contract sooner rather than later if he needs to.
Yeah.
Do we really think Lindholm is better than Zacha?
As a two-way center? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. I think Zacha's got a better shot.
I'd rather have Lindholm out on a defensive draw than any other center on the Bruins roster right now.
I'll put it this way. If I have Zacha and Lindholm on the ice for a defensive zone face-off, I'm putting Lindholm in the circle, and then if he gets kicked out, then I'm putting Zacha in. Yeah. That tells you which one's better.
And both of them can play and feed the puck to Pasternak. Both of them can play on the penalty kill. So, I mean, they're not Bergeron, Krejci 1A and 1B. But they are the Bruins 1A and 1B. You know what I mean? Like, to where if you're trailing by a goal or you're up a goal, you're on the PK, there's 2 minutes left, you're going to put them on the ice together. You know what I mean? To take that defensive zone draw with the, you know what I mean? Especially if it's 6-on-4.
Yeah. Yeah. If you need that face-off win. So... let's see. Kevin says, yeah, I'm not going to have Hagen sit out because Poitras upset. That's soft. No, I'm saying it sets a bad precedent. Like, it just sets a bad precedent for your players that come in and do what you tell them to do. You follow the program and you will be rewarded based on merit. And then all of a sudden, just because a seventh overall draft pick comes in, he doesn't have to do all that. Like, that's setting completely different expectations. So Kevin says this is year 2 of the contract, and I think after next season it's going to age like milk. Talking about the Elias Lindholm contract.
I think last year was pretty much a wash because of the fact that he played 90% of the season injured.
Yeah. Now this is a different question. It says, who has the higher trade value, Lindholm or Zacha?
It depends.
That's why I said it's a different question.
But it also depends. I think it depends on who's looking for what.
Yeah.
Because as much as they're alike, they're different.
100%. Zacha is also a better shooter. So if you're looking for the offensive upside that Zacha could provide, also the ability to kick over to wing, then if you're you probably could have gotten a haul from Minnesota for Pavel Zacha because they needed a center.
Right. But John Sweeney has made it perfectly clear that Pavel Zacha is in their future, not just their now, in their future.
Exactly. However, Elias Lindholm, if you were trading him to a team like Columbus, for instance, where they're looking to get players who have reasonable term at reasonable dollar amounts to fill in their roster and complement the youth that they have, Elias Lindholm would be a good fit for that.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're trading one of the two to Columbus, they're more likely to pay higher price for Elias Lindholm because he suits what they need better.
Right.
So it's not 50-50 apples to apples
Yeah,
comparison.
it's never black and white when you're comparing two players that offer 90% of the same thing and 10% difference.
And that 10% that's different is worlds apart.
Right.
Like it's worlds apart. So, but no, it'll be very interesting. And I know Dom mentioned earlier to keep an eye on Lucas Reichel. I know he's playing in the game tonight for Providence, which I have on, and he was on Pacha's wing.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see how he fits in, because Lucas Reichel also has that upside to be able to see what he can do in the NHL.
Right.
He's been in the NHL before. So you're not just throwing him to the Wolves in an NHL game and just, throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks. You're throwing, what was he, a 17th overall draft pick who has played, he's pushing 200 NHL games. So, he knows what he's getting into at that point.
What? You just completely broke up.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
But
where'd you go?
now.
Oh, yeah. I said yeah.
I don't know. Doing a show live. Let me see. All right. Now it seems like we have a good connection. Let's see. Karen then says, but who would be better to show improvement on the team, and who will actually do something for the Bruins? I think they both will. It's just, what are you asking them to do is the question.
Who are we talking about?
That would be the
are we
Lindholm
talking about?
Zacha.
Are we talking about Higgins? Are we talking about Patra? Are we talking about Lindholm and Zacha? Like, who are we talking about when you say who would be better to show improvement on the team?
I think she's talking about the Lindholm Zacha debate.
I mean, because if we're talking about Lindholm and Zacha, they both have. I don't know. I mean, if it came down to it, I would pick Zacha over Lindholm. If I was forced to pick who would stay on the Bruins, Pavel Zacha or Elias Lindholm, I would go with Zacha. But if we're talking about Higgins, Patra, Reichel, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what we're talking about when on that question.
Yeah, I think she's talking about the Zacha Lindholm debate that we were having there. And I agree with you. I think between the two, Zacha is the one that you would keep if you had to make a choice between the two. But right now, you don't have to make that choice. And right now, there's no one in your system who's playing. And the light just did it again. I don't get it. Can you still hear me at least?
I can hear you. I just can't, I mean.
Let me try to refresh my feed here real quick.
Hi, guys. I'm solo now. No more slapping Chris.
All right, let's see if that helps. You know what? For now, I'm just going to keep myself on the wrong side of the screen. I think that might throw off Dom and Kevin for a little bit.
Oh, you think they care?
No, probably not. Kevin says, if I could make a contract vanish today, Zacha or Lindholm, goodbye. Lindholm, don't ask me twice. I mean,
you're frozen, so it didn't work being on that side.
Wow. Can you at least hear me? Yeah, there we go.
Thank you, Kevin. We have never lost your sound.
Okay.
You freeze and turn black every now and again.
That's weird. We haven't had this many issues in a while, so if it happens
not
once
we,
every...
Not we, you. I'm not having issues. I'm not having issues. You're having issues. I'm fine.
We as in the show.
Oh.
We as in the show. That's where I'm in.
Still not me.
So, anyway. Yes, Kevin, I agree because you're getting an extra $3.5 million off the books. Like you always go with the bigger contract if you need to, like if it comes down to this close. But I don't think it'll be very interesting to see what Zaka sticks around for on his next contract. I mean, I would think based on his importance to the team, he's going to get that. So, did I lose you?
No, I'm here.
Okay.
You're frozen again, but I'm here.
Of course I am. Of course I am. And as to Dom's point, I don't have any apps open that I don't normally have when we're doing this. That's what happens when you stream from the Bat Cave. Thanks, Dom. Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah, my apartment probably is very much like the Bat Cave though. Anyway,
Since when? You've been in there, like, although is the poll? Did you move to a different room?
yeah, we're in a different unit. We're on the first floor now instead of the third floor.
Wait, but I thought the poll was there. Oh, I guess not.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Dom says Zaka is happy because of the Schmaltz deal. Yeah, I would think so. The rising cap certainly helps with that. What's your ceiling on Zaka's next contract?
I don't know. I don't
He's
know.
only
It depends
28.
on what they have. I know, but but my thing is though is that it also depends on what's still on your books, what's coming off your books, what you're putting on your books. It's not just Saka because he's not worthy of Pasternak money.
No, I don't think he would cost you Pasternak money though.
Right. No, but what I'm saying is it really like, that's one thing that Sweeney is very careful of when he's extending people is he's not just looking at the player themselves, he's also looking at what's good for the team. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So he's looking at it, I don't know, 6.5.
See, I think I'm with Dom going like 7 is probably where he's gonna be around 6.5, 7. And I think you get full term on it. I think he's shown enough that you're gonna get 5 to 7 years out of it, depending on when it's signed. You'll get the full term. But
Yeah, I mean, I said 6.5, but I mean, what's another 250 million,
yeah. Let's see. Kenny says, "Is anyone else watching the Hockey East this week? Hoping BU loses so Yzerman and Bednar can turn pro." Tom, I never hate watching hockey. So
Listen, I am focused on my Northeastern women's team.
and how are they doing?
Well, they play Minnesota this Saturday in their first game of the NCAA. So,
Yeah. I can't believe we're already at tournament season for the NCAA. It's come so quick. And of course, if BC loses, then Hagens could be here sooner than we expect. I don't want fans to set the expectation. Dean Letourneau is going back to college next year. I think that's all but been confirmed. I think it was Court had mentioned it on a few of his videos now, and I don't know if Dom would have anything to add to it or not, but pretty sure that it's probably a 97% chance that Dean Letourneau is going back to college next year, which is the right move. He absolutely should go back. As good as he's been this year, I don't think turning pro right now is the best thing. We've already seen him rush up a level more than he needed to. So Funny enough,
How
I
about that?
enjoy hate.
Can I turn my video off? Because it's, or can you, like, it is driving me insane that you are frozen again.
Yeah, next time my computer. There we go. Let me see if being just a voice in the sky helps for right now. We'll try and get rid of that for a little bit and see if it helps. Might drive you less insane anyway.
Yeah.
It's a smack my computer, not me. Dom says I was told there would be no math here. Well, that's not how you calculate the standings, is without math. But let's see. Yeah, I know Kenny's watching AHL, hoping Bridgeport can squeak their way into the playoffs. But right now, Providence is down 1-0 in the second to Springfield. So even the baby bees need to fight a comeback here and there. So, yeah, I think tonight is going to be a little bit of a shorter program. I don't know what else we've got left to go over. I think we both are fans of the Bruin contract extension. I know we
Yeah.
touched on it. Sucks to see Lashmelis' season end for Providence with a shoulder injury, but I think he'll be given ample opportunity next year to make the team out of camp. I think the only other thing we haven't discussed is whether or not you feel comfortable extending Victor Arvidsson. Have you seen enough to want to bring him back?
I would bring him back if it's friendly, you know. I don't think they should overpay. But I think he suits well in Boston. He fits the culture. He fits the he fits the role that was asked upon him. So I would have no problems with an extension. I would rather see him extended before. Who else signed a 1 year? Was it Easimont?
Easymont's already under. Yeah, Easymont, Corrali, and Husnadinov all have next year under contract already.
Okay. Yeah,
And then
I wouldn't mind seeing,
Steve's.
but the other thing is too, it depends on, you know, Sweeney may be like, you know what? Um, if I mean Arvidsson and Sweeney, if they did 2 to 3 years, I'd be okay with it. I wouldn't want more than 3 years.
Yeah, and that's what
Um,
Wanderers is saying. I think Arvidsson will want longer term. That the term is the concern that I would have.
yeah, because he may be like, all right, I don't want to keep moving. I want to finish, you know. Um, but I like what he's brought to the Bruins. What about
I
you?
like what
What are your
he's
thoughts?
brought. I I don't like the idea of giving him long term. I
Right.
know he's only 32, but they're just, what's the number? It's a major concern. And I also sit here and I go, okay, so if you extend Victor Arvidsson, right? Right now, he's the only one in your forward group who's not under contract for next year.
Right.
So if you come into next season with Victor Arvidsson extended, the only change that you're making is Andrew Peak out and Frederick Brunet in. That's the only change on paper that you're making. Maybe Jordan Harris is out at that point. You don't extend him. But right now, you only have 3 guys who are pending any form of free agency on the NHL roster: Peak, Harris, and Arvidsson. Now, obviously, moves are going to be made in the offseason, but what is the trade value of Casey Middlestat? Is that, where, if you move Casey Middlestat, then you effectively are opening up one spot for James Higgins, Downs Lachmelis to compete for,
Right.
which is fine, but I thought the plan was to try to get
Good
Higgins
night,
into the
Tom.
lineup somehow. Have a good night, Dom. So if you're trying to assimilate James Higgins into the lineup next season, into the NHL lineup, then are you, where are you trying to put him? Are you trying to put him between Zacha and Arvidsson? I don't hate that for him. But now you're moving on from Casey Middlestat at what cost. Now, obviously, it's the final year of his deal, and yes, you save some money on, like, there's benefits to doing anything, but at the same time, what are you like? Are you going to move on from Sean Corrali in the last year of his contract? Like, why was that a 2-year contract?
Right.
Mikey Easimont, you could move on from him. Same thing. Why was that a 2-year contract? Alex Steves, he's got next year and the year after at 1.6 now. It's not a great extension right now if you plan on trying to have some of these other, like Fraser Mitten's spot is where you want it to be. He's on the NHL roster.
Mm-hmm.
So now you start playing what's the lineup, like don't you want to try to have a spine of Minton, Higgins, Lindholm, like those three in an order that they're able to determine based on play?
Right.
Now you're being forced to make some. Now, obviously, you're going to have a little bit of cap wiggle room depending on what you get Arvidsson back for at that point. But, is Victor Arvidsson worth re-signing if it means opening up that roster spot for one of your kids?
Right.
Yeah, Wander says they could do a couple buyouts, but the Bruins don't have a history of buyouts in the sense that they're just going to do them because they're there. They don't like paying people to not be in the organization. It's the best way to put it.
Right.
And then you're also calculating the backfire of the buyout. So, if you buy out, let's say Sean Corrali, now instead of having his cap hit on the books for just next season at 1.85, now you've doubled that. You've added money to the following season for minimal reason. Because let's be honest, even if James Higgins makes the team next year, it's not last season. You're using that as a year for him to learn, to build on, to have a strong sophomore season. And that's where you'd want guys like, if they're still around, Lucas Reichel, Matthew Poitras, Fabian Lysell, Don Zlotchmelis. That's where you want those guys to be in the NHL after some action, knowing what they're doing and starting to take off on their young career. So I think there's going to be a lot of movement in the offseason with some of the guys in Providence, and that's going to be the more interesting part.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of RFAs down in Providence. But and then we'll obviously have to address the trade Corpusalo rumors as well. Jeannot was an overpay. What do you think? I don't quite think so.
I don't think so.
He's only 3.4 against your books, and he's giving you a lot more than that in value, and he's only 28. So the fact that other teams were sniffing around him at the same cost, if not more, for shorter term, like the value was there. What was it? 15, roughly $20 million contract. Is that what he got?
I don't remember, to be honest with you. I can look it up.
17. That's what it was. 17. 3.4 by 5.
Quicker than I did.
This year his base is the 2, and then he's got signing bonus. So the signing bonus money is over in 2027, 28. Very movable at that point. I just can't qualify it as an overpay though.
Right.
They have to create a few spots somehow. Surely they aren't going to run it back. That's my point. Is where are you going to open up those spaces? So and you and I will pick apart the lineup plenty. We do.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think with the exception of looking forward at the schedule, I've had a good week. I'm not all that upset by. I mean, I'd like them not to have blown a 3-0 lead in Pittsburgh, but like, okay,
Yeah.
you got to watch the tape now, figure it out, figure out what went wrong, and I mean that game against the Kings yesterday, the goal that never should have gone to overtime, but you can't blame Swayman on that one. It hit up his Lindholm's knee.
No, it was funny too because if you watched unobstructed views, like Raycroft at first is like, "Oh, Swayman's gonna want that back," and then he saw the replay. He goes, "Nope, never mind."
Yeah, yeah. As soon as I saw the replay, I was like, "There's nothing he can do on that one."
There
I'm
was
just waiting
nothing.
for the people to go trade Swayman. That one can't go in. Like,
Well, because you know what? I mean, even when I was saying to you last week about the long distance shots, that wasn't me griping that Swayman's a bad goaltender. I
oh, I
was just
know.
wondering if there was an issue with it, but again, the sample size was very small. He hasn't had any since then. So, I mean, maybe it was just a fluke.
And that is the exact answer for why you get pucks to the net, and shit happens when you get pucks to the net.
Yeah.
So it just it went. I mean, you still got the extra point thanks to toothless McAvoy over there,
Yeah.
but it's
Poor McAvoy.
poor. Did you see his post game? You got
Yeah.
2 questions.
Yeah.
I felt as tired as he was. I felt it. Just fed up with it. So, um, yeah, I mean, every game at this point is you gotta bring it. Um, I do worry about the Sharks tomorrow, though. They are damn good right now, and they're fighting for their playoff lives. So, you got anything else? You got anything on the
Mm.
fleet?
Yes, the Fleet are riding a 6-game road win. 6-game winning streak. Sorry. 6-game winning streak. They hold sole possession in first place. They're having their first back-to-back of the season. They played last night. They beat Vancouver 2-1 in overtime. They have Seattle tonight. They've won against Seattle 3 times this season so far. Yeah, they are just a fun team to watch. And if you are not paying attention to Aaron Frankel, I'm sorry, you're missing out.
Yeah, she's definitely one worth watching. And to say that the Olympics don't have an effect on things, we're taking my daughter to the upcoming game on not this Saturday, but next Saturday. That one's in Lowell, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
That's the
because
one we're going to.
the 17th, they're back in the area, but they're at Aganis.
Yeah, so it's the Saturday,
The
the
20th,
21st,
21st.
20th, 21st, whatever that one
Yeah,
is.
because
It's an afternoon game.
the 17th is a Tuesday. So whatever
Yeah,
that Saturday is, yeah.
21st.
I
We're
should be at
taking
that game.
we're taking my daughter to that one. She was all amped up from watching the women's win that we were supposed to take her home Sunday, but she refused to go until after the men's final was over for the Olympics. So
Nice.
it's funny to see her, and it's really funny because this year football clicked for her.
Yeah.
She finally started to understand the intricacies of the first downs.
Uh-huh.
And so that clicked, and now this is clicking, and it's just funny to see. So, uh, yeah, hopefully we'll see a few people at that game on the 21st.
Well,
So,
you'll see. I'll be in the press box, but you'll see me.
in the meantime, any final Bruins thoughts?
No, I really this is the time of the year, like we said earlier, for anyone that missed it. I really think that Corpusala should only have like maybe 3 starts. It should be Swayman's net going forward, with the exception of the back-to-backs. Um, And it's tough because it's not Corpusalo was playing fine. And it's not that he's playing bad. You can't really blame the losses on him. But Swayman gives you that much more of an opportunity to win.
Yeah, right now it's big boy hockey, and
Yeah.
Swayman's your starter, so it's time for him to step up, be a big boy, and earn the contract that he bitched for.
Yeah,
as some people would put it. So,
Kevin. I'm sorry, did I say that out loud?
Maybe just a little bit. But yeah.